Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Set2 Esports World Championship here in Seoul, South Korea. My name is Reed Rapid Melton, and of course, joining me tonight, Marika
Aki.
Okay, I was like Aki. The support player for South Africa's representative team here at IESF. How have you enjoyed your time here in Korea?
It's been amazing. These people, these teams, they experience the ping. In South Africa, we have 220 ping constantly, so this is like Christmas for us.
Yeah, it's like you're instantly challenger when you come over here. And speaking of challenger players, we've seen a lot of incredible plays so far here. Specifically that last game, Korea just absolutely dominant. You have the colorless Bard plays, the Chieftain Lee Sin plays, not enough bans to go around, and it's going to be interesting to see what kind of adaptations Serbia bring in here to game number 2.
I don't think they're going to ban Kindred again. I can say, oh, okay, Korea will ban Kindred, never mind. No, well, Elise or GP, which one do you give to them? Do you give them Varus? You can't really give them Varus.
I promise you don't give them Varus. We'll see what they do give them as we jump in here to picks and bans here coming up in just a second. Game number 2, our second semifinal of the day, as Korea takes on Serbia. Champion picks and bans underway. Tom Kench, the first ban there for Korea. Not going to let that one through, but for Serbia, with only 3 bans, it's going to be interesting to see what they prioritize. A guaranteed Gangplank ban, possible Varus ban that has been Fire Rain's most dominant champion recently. See if they do let him through. And there's the Kindred ban actually still from Korea. Go ahead and take that one off the field.
Exactly the same bans in exactly the same order, but Serbia will have to get rid of something here because they're not first pick. They can't give them Lee Sin again. So
I'd expect a second ban here on, or second ban Lee Sin for Serbia. A really dominant play there for Chieftain. I mean, Korea Lee Sin has been a meme for a while, but it's going to be exciting to see whether or not it's left through again. First pick available for Korea. For Serbia, they were able to grab the Rek'Sai early on, and Lee Sin just tore them apart. So coming in here, their last ban, is it going to be Lee Sin? Is it going to be Varus? A lot of power picks here still left.
well, they didn't ban the Twisted Fate this game, so maybe Serbia pulls something out there with the Twisted Fate.
It's going to be interesting to see whether or not they want to ban the champions they have struggles with, and that's exactly what they're going to do. The Rek'Sai ban, not going to give that one to Chieftain. It's still a champion that you can use to snowball the game a lot early on, but I mean, spoiler alert, he's pretty good at Lee Sin if you guys got a chance to watch the first game, and instant first pick for Korea.
Well, do you take Hecarim and Varus now, or do you give them Varus? Because Varus is a huge power pick for them. Then you have the Bard problem.
It's interesting from a spectator point of view. When we say, oh, Varus is a big power pick, you're just like, well, Varus, I haven't seen him played in a lot of tournaments. I've never seen this Fire Rain guy. Who on earth is he? I'd love to be able to pronounce the Korean characters for his ID, but I was like, okay, well, let me just see how good this guy is at Varus. It's actually disgusting. So 700 points, Korean challenger, that's good enough for me. So no Varus ban, we'll see if that's the pick here. Also extremely good on champions like Victor. Love those V's in there, and we'll see if that's what he goes for, as the Lulu has been taken away. Should be locked in here for Serbia.
But the Gragas jungle, I've been wanting to see it all weekend, and today is my day.
Yeah, there you go, getting locked in. We were actually talking about this a little bit earlier as far as junglers that are still strong, but we haven't seen quite yet in competitive play here at IESF. Gonna get locked in there, but oh my gosh, I'm starting to see some deja vu here. Korea getting 2 of their strongest power picks from game 1. Now Fire Rain won't be able to pick Lulu. We'll see if he decides to lock in another one. Powerful champion.
It looks like there could be a tiny issue.
Bard, a little bit more than a tiny issue. Colorless, and ain't broke, don't fix it. Just going right back to their roots. The strong champions in game 1, looking to be strong here in game 2.
Well, they gave him 3 of their picks. It's just like China versus Switzerland all over again.
They're just going for the same champions. But for Serbia, they do have an opportunity to change things up a lot with this mid lane pick. For Milica, the Azir mid lane got completely focused. Chieftain all over that mid lane. Got it snowballed, got it rolling, and it's very, very, very difficult.
But what do you play against Lee Sin so he doesn't gank you?
You can play something like maybe a Vladimir mid lane. We've already seen that come out this tournament. Able to just pool away there if Lee Sin decides to go in. A lot of very safe champions here, but saving that mid lane pick for last, very smart for Serbia to make sure that they ensure a strong matchup for them in one of the most difficult matchups in this tournament.
Well, their bot lane couldn't outtrade the bard, so it's risky. Maybe they will lane swap if it works, but Hecarim is a good lane swapper, so...
Mid lane pick, what's it going to be for Fire Rain? No really mid lane champions being locked in. I mean, you can play Lucian mid there, you can play Hecarim, but really not anymore. So it'll be interesting to see what Fire Rain's champion of choice is.
Is it a Varus?
No, it's not going to be Varus. It might be Irelia, though.
No.
We've seen mid lane Irelia as a counter to something, but oh man. If this is Varus, this is going to be a show for Fire Rain. It's hovered over. Korea thinking about locking it in. They're going to get the Varus. They're going to lock it in. And, oh man, immediately a Zed lock in there. Wow. Demented Clown knew exactly what they were working on.
And I think that's what they were afraid of when picking Varus. That's why they took so long to choose it. But I just want to comment and say, well-failed prediction.
Hey, there you go. You're redeeming yourself. So the Varus lock-in for Fire Rain, and the quickness, the speed on that Zed pick, actually a little bit suspicious. You can say, well, Serbia, it's not really super hard to research these Korean teams. All of their games were played, on the regular servers, so you can see exactly what you're working with. And it's not a mystery that Fire Rain is extremely good on Varus. Solo queue, and even if you check he's got highlights videos of the champion. That's a pretty good indication, but man, a very, very strong lineup locked in once again here for Korea. They've won game number 1. They're one of the strongest regions in IESF, and only a few seconds left before we get into the game. I am so excited. If you guys at home are excited, get on Twitter, tweet it out, let us know about IESF. If you're watching, it's going to be a very exciting game number 2 coming up here, so let's go ahead and get into game. A little bit of a delay here as we do have a small error with the runes here, which means you get to see our beautiful faces for a little bit longer. Selecting the wrong runes, got to go in for a quick restart, but we should be able to get that game on your screens here in just a second. I was super excited. I was like, all right, we're loading it. Oh, just kidding. So a little bit of a false start, but we should be able to get game number 2 coming your way here in just a second.
So do you expect anything to be different this game?
Man, I've watched so many highlight videos of Fire Rain's Varus that I'm just like, I'm trying to be impartial, you're right? So I was like, okay, well, let me do my equal research for both teams. I was like, okay, the Serbian squad, not a team that I necessarily expected to see in the semifinals, but man, after I watched some of their semifinal games, or their quarterfinal games, actually pretty ridiculous. And then you go over and see this Korean team that's made up of a lot of individual talent that has played together strong enough to be the strongest Netcafe team in Korea. And yes, they're literally a Netcafe team. I'm not just using that as a meme to mean that they're a bunch of amateurs coming together. In this case, they actually really are, and it's been really impressive to see how they've banded together, not only just using their individual strengths, but coming together to sort of win lane and then win the game immediately afterwards. But a little bit more finesse than that, especially things like Colorless's Bard, knowing exactly where to roam. A very strong Lee Sin performance. I mean, it's strong enough to get first picked again. So if you liked what you saw from Chieftain in game number 1, something tells me you're going to like game number 2 as well.
Well, I just hope this Gragas can perform, because he has to keep up with this Lee Sin, but he has the potential to gank, just not as much, but a lot more than Rek'Sai in this
Anytime
case.
you say Gragas has to keep up with somebody, I'm initially skeptical, because when I think of champions that keep up with other ones, not top on the list. But let's go ahead and take a quick break before we get into our second game of the day. I promise this time. So let's go ahead, loading into game number 2, Korea versus Serbia. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 coming your way in our second semifinal matchup of the night. Swapping sides here as Serbia take to the Rift on the red, and they will be facing off against Korea, already 1 game up in this best-of-3 matchup.
We see the same defense tactics as last game, just warding out. I'm not expecting any deep wards unless Lulu goes for something from the top side, but with a Hecarim that might be a tiny bit hard.
Fire Rain having some fun. He's going to be dancing it up there. And, theoretically, running an Assassin into an AD carry should be pretty good for the Assassin. I mean, Zed might take a lot of harass early on, but just buying up those health potions on top of the longsword. The Biscuits not chosen for the mana that they give. It's like, oh no, Zed and his mana problems. But just for the extra health that you get in lane, a little bit more sustain, and that's what it's going to take to get Zed to the point where Varus maybe a little bit in trouble. But the Exhaust Summoner spell specifically, very good at mitigating that kill potential from Zed.
But Zed has been buffed, so the speed of reaction, I hope it can pop for us, because if we can get a game 3 here, I don't know, the bans. Will they ban Lee Sin at last?
If they get another chance to do that and they don't, then I don't know, it's maybe a wasted opportunity. But at least for now, like you said, a few interesting picks. Now, we don't see Varus every game, at least not competitively, and it is a power pick here, so definitely something to put some focus on. I'm not going to reiterate that too many times. But on the other side, Zed, like you said, buffs, definitely a lane to keep an eye on. Another thing to talk about is the way that this start's going to go. We don't see traditionally a whole lot of double jungling in the preseason patch, as it's just not quite as effective as it used to be. You generally want to get your champion in lane, but that is the start that is going to happen here for Serbia as they do start this one out. But Colorless always coming in for the blue buff, so close. Pulling off, I like to call that one the Afro move after I saw him do that in LCS, but it was a very, very strong play there. Level 2's coming in here, ignites onto Colorless. He's going to be forced to flash away. There's the magical journey coming through the wall there. Colorless will get body slammed. Will he be able to run away from this one? Barrel in for the slow and first blood, Colamax.
And that is how you make people cry.
Or people yell. We have some very vocal Serbian fans in the audience. Super happy for this early lead, and it's going to be a little bit interesting to see what the reaction to this is. And one reaction from the Korean team, Chieftain Lonely in the enemy jungle, will be stealing away that red buff after a little bit of extra time taken to kill off the Bard, and it's really cool to see Korea turn a weakness and losing their support into a strength off of going for that counter jungle.
Well, we see Alistar getting some deep vision, but they're getting caught in jungle.
The Fire Rain walking forward. Milika, though, in melee range. There's that Thunderlord, but all the flash in. There's the headbutt. Lonely very low, and Colamax grabs another kill. Fighting backwards, the Korean team not wanting to fight after losing their Hecarim. And, okay, that's 2-0 Lulu. That's one way to start the game.
And that's how we know Serbia. This is what we're expecting, I'm sure.
I'm not sure if I was expecting a 2-0 Lulu in 3.5 minutes. It's a little bit exceptional, but he's going to be a very strong power pick here, teleporting down to the bottom lane. And for Colamax, like we said, very strong on lane-dominant champions, likes the range versus melee advantage, so things like Nidalee, things like Gnar, and now Lulu being played in that top lane matchup. But he teleported into a Lucian lane, so he's probably just going to be in that 1v1 as probably looking for some roam opportunities from Colorless, which is pretty much his MO for game number 1 as well.
You mentioned last game that Lulu isn't really that much of a threat early game if she has a tiny bit of a lead, but 2 kills, this might make quite a difference.
And you'll actually notice a double Doran's ring start, so not really good scaling items. He's just saying, hey, I have an advantage. I want to be able to be as strong as possible, as quickly as possible. 3 health items picked up there, as well as a lot of AP and mana regen off of the Doran's rings. Going to make him a very strong early game for us. There's the headbutt, there's the pulverized Demented Clown. Going to go in there and get a lot of damage down, but with no more skills left, there's the Ignite. Summoning Heal being used there. Demented Clown very low. There's a rocket jump backwards. Bigfoot trying for some kills here, but in a 2v1 turned into a 2v2 double aim there to block the Sonic Wave. Serbia backing away there. Double aim's pretty strong here, but in the 2v2 with a big minion wave, Korea might just come out on top. There's Colamax using all that health from his items to stay alive after a lot of damage coming his way.
I feel that they need to do something while they can before Korea just flies away with this. Use the 2 kills on Lulu to just make play, because that flat AP early game has to be used, otherwise it's just a waste.
Well, one way to shut down a champion early on is very strong, whether it's just because of the champion or his kills. Put him in a 2v1 lane, and that's exactly what Korea's done. Actually, to be fair, that's what Colamax did. He was actually the one that teleported down bottom lane into the Lucian lane and had to know the Bard was coming up there eventually.
The Bard is everywhere. The Bard was everywhere last game.
The omnipresent, the Bard God, absolutely everywhere across the map. Actually pretty impressive to see Colorless over the course of game number 1 just... Like you said, just everywhere. So, got to keep an eye on Colamax, though. Is the bottom lane the right place to stay? It's going to be a 2v1 as we notice Vulcan Bop and Colorless all the way back down to bottom lane. But we'll see what the reaction is here from Korea after a somewhat shaky early start.
Milika is staying in this game with farm. I thought early game might be a bit harsh for him, but he's been doing it well, and he's level 6 now, so we should see some plays.
Oh man, level 6 is already starting to be hit there. 2 levels over his jungler. That's actually pretty impressive, and more importantly, a level 6 advantage over fire range. So we'll see if he can put that to use. They are in lane versus each other. No jungler presence around there, so to speak.
There's no ignite on Milika, but Fire Rain has exhaust, so I wouldn't risk jumping on him just yet, but very soon. Very, very soon.
Soon TM. See when that gets in there. But as far as jungle pressure goes, actually somewhat uncharacteristic for Chieftain to not have quite as much. I mean, game 1, he was all over that mid lane. And in an Assassin versus AD carry matchup, it's not a big mystery what's going to happen there. It's like, you have an AD carry. It's simple, man. You see AD carry, you ult the AD carry. It's pretty simple there. But for Milika, waiting for the right opportunity, biding his time, and Colorless helping out in the river, wants to make that happen. Actually, Colorless might have actually spec'd into the utility tree enough to get that extra movement speed in brush and river. It's really good for roaming champions. It seems like you're kind of wasting a point there, but the extra movement speed actually kind of ridiculous, especially if you're running around the map as consistently.
I think he just wants to keep the pressure in river so they don't get any ganks, because he's just allowing Lucian to get solo XP non-stop, and you want to get your Lucian going. It's not a Tristana, but it's a Lucian.
Yeah, Lucian very strong early on, specifically. Going for the Essence Reaver most likely, is what we see most commonly, and already on a BF sword. Broken Bop still very, very strong. Saw him on Kalista last game, a very mobile AD carry. Same situation here for Lucian. So it'll be interesting to see if he's able to capitalize on this one as significantly. Milika going undeterred, but having trouble landing these shurikens consistently. Really not a lot of pressure on the fire range, and just continues to farm it out.
Well, Dragus has done his work, but we haven't really seen him for the past few minutes. I guess he's waiting for level 6.
Top lane, Lonely gonna throw down the Ignite. There's the old Bigfoot in a little bit of trouble. Jumps away, Summoner Heal to stay alive! Bigfoot lives to be a legend another day.
Let's hope he gets there without Hecarim jumping on him all the time.
If you get a Bigfoot Tristana skin, when you rocket jump, it just like leaves that Yeti footprint. The Yeti knows the way. There's no Nunu in the game, so no competition there for the Yeti name. Man, if Bigfoot was like an 80 carry Nunu main, that's impressive to me. It's like not only are you playing a champion and not the right role, but you're living up to your name too. He's on the Tristana, another very big champion for late game, but look at that CS. He is dropping pretty far below 20 CS deficit here at only 9 minutes into the game.
That is a big difference. I mean, Lucian is going to have an item above her very, very soon.
And where's that Avarice Blade? The answer is no longer in the game, but that's traditionally what you'd see on like a Tristana 80 carry. It used to be you'd rush, or not rush the Infinity Edge, and get a BF sword, get an Avarice Blade, and then farm your way through to the big item with that one. But no longer in the game, sadly enough. Got Culling coming out, forcing a flash away from Demented Clown. Doesn't want to get chunked here, doesn't have his ultimate, only level 4. This turret dropping lower and lower. Top lane Colamax finally in the 1v1. We get to see him put those 2 kills to work.
We just saw Gragas go to the mid lane, but nothing has happened. Varus just backed out slowly. I think they're waiting for this, to get that Varus to die, and very soon.
To be fair, that lane is a lot more passive than I expected. And one interesting itemization adaptation in the mid lane, going for just straight up attack damage. No Tears of the Goddess, no scaling, no Mana Moon, just straight up AD as much as he can get. That's going to be a Varus that hurts a lot, but will not have the mana sustain to be able to consistently throw out those piercing arrows, especially like no mana potions. He does have that corrupting potion, but still not quite as much as you'd expect before the preseason patch.
I wonder if they are going to make play here. Hecarim has TP if they want to know.
There is the Bard. Ult's not going to land the ult, but will get that stun against the wall. Once again, Demented Clown only level 5, so no Unbreakable Will. There's the extra movement speed given by the Bard Shrine, but Bokabob he's walking forward. He's very confident in his ability to duel. He's got some help coming in there from Chieftain.
Everyone. Milika is... Oh, I thought he was going to get a kill.
Magical Journey there, perfectly timed Q to avoid the explosive cast. Chieftain just all over this, and now double aim. Forced to go backwards, there's Sonic Wave flashed away from Chieftain, still walking forward. Looking for another opportunity. There is the teleport. Huge ult coming in from Lonely. There's a snipe by Chieftain, doesn't get the opportunity to go forward. Just kills him with a Sonic Wave, the power of sound. Grabbing in the second kill of the game.
The problem we had there is the fact that Varus was just baiting Zed from going into that, where he could have just ran and gotten a kill, get out, but he turned around for that Varus.
And now Korea looking to secure their second actually, global objective in the game. They've taken down one turret, looking for their first dragon. Down to 2k HP, no jungler in the area. I think directed cameras there are going to assume that Dragon's just going to die. It does, and that is the first 2 global objectives of the game for Korea.
Korea has a 2k gold lead. It's not huge, but it's something, and it shows. They might try pressure this tower soon.
I actually like what Chieftain was doing. We commented on the lack of his early pressure compared to game number 1, but now that he knows that there is kill potential there for Milika in the mid lane, he's actually focusing that lane a lot more to sort of relieve that pressure from fire rate, and he's going to be able to rain down some arrows as soon as he gets some more mana. I guess he's got just enough, but going to go ahead, pierce those minions off the turret, head back to base. Really great timing there as he sees the Wolf Spirit scout out double aim in the jungle.
That's a smart back. But double aim trying for mid, he's just not succeeding. We haven't really seen him anywhere since those 2 early kills. He really needs to step this up. Get someone fed.
Bardol coming in. Oh, the flash forced out. How scary are those Bardol's insta-flash there from Zed? Demented Clown, he wants to try to contest the pink ward, and I think Colorless is gonna be a little bit merciful and give it to him. Pretty sure he's having flashbacks to that level 1 death. It's like, alright, maybe play it a little bit more carefully. Walks away. Only 13 minutes into the game, but already starting to see a 2k gold lead develop. Staying the same for at least for now, but we still haven't seen a big buy here for Korea. They're buying up their mid-tier items. We have actually, I take that back. The Essence Reaver completed for Bokenbop. didn't notice he had just picked that up as I was talking about it walking out of basin. Very, very strong Lucian this early on in the game.
I'm waiting for a play, something big. It just feels like everybody's so calm right now.
Well, I mean, blue buff being handed over, that's just to give Zed the extra ability power. No, I'm just kidding. No scaling there. I mean, to be fair, when it comes down to it, Varus not really a champion that wants to fight a whole lot early game, so maybe playing it a little bit more passively, working out better for Korea, relying on a little scaling there. And to be fair, the Tear of the Goddess maybe not quite as necessary with Essence Reaver being the first item. Just a lot of early power here being utilized. A lot of damage there. Wow, that could have been a kill for Milica. There's no summon or heal, by the way, no barrier for Varus, so it's not going to block, not going to be able to have that ability to deny little chunks here and there.
But you can see Milica respects Bard because he saw Bard and he was just too scared to go in, even though it would be a kill.
Blue buffs being handed over now to both mid laners. See who's able to utilize that board, man. You gotta give it to the Korean representatives here. Bog know exactly where they need to put their focus. So Fire Rain has a weak matchup in the 1v1. Why not make it a 1v3, or in this case a 2v3, and just really use that ranged advantage? Support, mid lane, bottom lane, all three very strong ranged champions, able to put a lot of pressure here on this turret. Nice culling, have health on Milica. Now top lane, we've got a flash forced out on Nicola Max.
I hope Colamax can do what Lonely did last, not Lonely, who played Fire Rain. Fire Rain did last game on Lulu. They might go for something under this tower. Yes, Cheated is here, plays are going to be made.
A lot of damage coming down. There is the corruption, but Fire Rain not able to find any big meaningful stuns there. Demented Clown does eat that ultimate, walk away. No chains of corruption to land there. And oh man, there's the Zed ult on a Bob. Shadow to try to follow, but nope. Thunderlord's procking there at the very end. Fire Rain, I think he's pretty glad that his 80 carry took that Zed ult instead of him. There's the kick. There's the Q flashed away from Fire Rain, though in a little bit of a rough spot. Double aim does have that red buff. Auto attacks after auto attacks, a little bit of trouble. There's the flash. There's the auto attack with Fire Rain with a Q, able to lock him down. Demented Clown trying to run away. There's the magical journey. Headbutt backwards, but Chieftain on a killing spree. Cosmic finding against the wall. Bigfoot, though, able to take down the Bard. Flash away there by Chieftain. There's the rocket jump. Oh, Bigfoot running forward. May wish he had used that in reverse. Chieftain very low. The last stick of Ignite's gonna shut him down. In the meantime, Lonely able to find a kill for himself. Colamax pushing forward, able to get those auto attacks off. Lonely needs to dodge this glitter lance and not able to. Colamax on a killing spree.
That was a 2 for 2, 3 for 3. Wow.
And 5 for 5 on the kill. So
Yes.
got a lot of synergy there on the symmetry. With 17 minutes into the game, it's important to see where those kills are. 3-0-2 losing Colamax. I was like, wait a second, he has a killing spree, and that's because he hasn't died since he got those 2 early kills. But as our very helpful observers are indicating, 50 seconds left until Dragon comes back. So it'll be interesting to see, after a little bit of an even fight, who's going to come out on top when Dragon is contested.
Both top laners have TP, so they might both be going for top. Yes, Hecarim's also moving top just to push this out for Dragon. But we should expect a double TP or a Lulu turning him into a bunny.
Colamax going to soak up a lot of valuable experience. He stayed on par with his lane opponent, which is something that can actually be said for the rest of his team. Actually a 25 CS advantage over Fire Rain. And man, after hyping up this champion for basically the entire pick and ban phase, it's actually pretty interesting to see the pressure that has caused him to maybe have a little bit of a hiccup here in the mid lane.
Centering around, but Korea definitely has the vision advantage. They have wards everywhere.
I'm thinking of the literal interpretation of that. Like, if you actually had wards everywhere, it'd be a little bit ridiculous. You can actually do that with a Sightstone on the fountain, or at least you could for a while, because you could just continually refresh the wards and just like absolutely spam it. But of course,
The good old season 2 days.
Oh man, good times. Buy infinity wards. awesome game studio, by the way. But also, when it comes to League of Legends, both of these teams super good. For Serbia, undefeated on their way there. Korea can't say the same thing. They actually dropped a game to Romania on their way through in the quarterfinals. Kind of a big surprise, at least when I heard that. I was like, wow, the team, the country has won IESF for years on end. Actually starting to have some struggles. Now, we haven't seen them struggle here in the matchup versus Serbia, but this is a much more even game, at least when you compare it to game number 1. So, seeing if Serbia are going to exert enough pressure to push them back away. There's a nice culling. And a little bit less of a nice Bard ultimate. Demented found though nice front lining, but Colorless looking to go back in. Where's that Tempered Fate to come out? Actually saving, or actually, yeah, did use it there. Not some great effect. The double aim trying to body slam his way away. Nice follow there on the Hecarim. Big wild growth to keep him alive, but not alive for long enough. Minor slow there off the hail of arrows. A double kill for Lonely, but I think that's all the kills he's going to get.
Milika did not proc his ult. This is a big problem. Yeah.
It's a great way to even just use it defensively and avoid damage, avoid dying, but didn't use it at all. And now, when it comes to the mid game, 20 minutes in, Korea, like we said, very even in the last fight, but in that fight, a solid win, able to push through for not just the team fight win, but also taking down that second tier turret objective, and just really looking to snowball that from a team fight into a turret, into a red buff steal, and just getting one advantage after another.
I feel they might surprise us again with a little early Baron or some Baron pressure, just to throw Serbia off.
Well, to be fair, with a magical journey, you can actually go wherever you want over the Baron wall, maybe get some sneaky ward coverage, but no Barons just yet. It's only just now spawning. Rest in peace, Rift Herald. We've seen saw the Chinese team take quite a few Rift Heralds, but aside from that, I haven't actually seen a lot of priority to that. Maybe a little bit new here in the preseason, so teams might not know exactly how to use it to full extent. There's also a few ways that you can like keep the Rift Herald's eye open so that you can take it down like super early, but haven't seen that technique utilized just yet. So the biggest thing, at least for now, that we're seeing mid game thoroughly upon us. Where do the strengths lie for both teams? We've seen a Rod of Ages now looking for some actually hardcore ability power there for Colamax. And on the other side, a lot of strength. Once again, big surprise in the jungle on Chieftain's Lee Sin, crushing through the early game. And now as we look up towards top lane, a lot of extra pressure up there. Chieftain's there for moral support as they take down the turret, but anybody shows up top lane, he's looking to go in.
I'm hoping that they can keep him off this tower, but...
Ignite going down there, kill potential possibly. Ult forced out as Lonely goes back in and backs back out.
What will the next play be? What is the next objective? Tower? Baron?
I mean, really, just
kills.
find an idea, go for it. It's like, what's the shot call? It's like, okay, well, let's go pressure Baron. So a lot of great opportunities to do that. Pink wards in 2 members in the inventory of 2 members on the Korean squad. Fog, great at mitigating the fog of war. I'm not sure if that's where they got their name from, but good job handing off blue buffs consistently to Fire Rain. Even though he dropped down a little bit in CS, he's actually down about 30 there in the mid lane. Haven't seen a lot capitalized on that for Milika. He's kind of struggled to not only just get his ult off, but to be able to find himself kills even after that advantage in the mid lane.
It worries me that they ban Elise every game against Korea. It just shows you that they're more scared of its Elise than its Lee Sin.
I mean, how good is your Elise if they're scared enough to leave up the champion that you already know he's good at? Jamming out, heading back to base. Lonely looking for most likely a Frozen Heart. Head back, and there we go. Frozen Heart, second item, right on par with his build from game number 1. And here in game 2, I just want to see how Serbia used their strengths here, because you can't guarantee that you'll get ahead, but when you do, you need to be able to have a game plan for that. So Serbia, for them, we've seen Lulu be very effective in team fights at mitigating damage, but the team itself not really willing to play around it. There's the culling, Demented Clown almost dead right there. The piercing arrow so close, yet so far.
Lucian, such a great champion right now.
Double aim, maybe in a little bit of a rough spot. Nice zoning shadow from Milica to reset things. Say, hey, let's fight another day. Colamax versus Lonely. And Lonely is so confident in there. He's so confident in that matchup that he built a Frozen Heart versus an AP champion. Now, Lonely gonna get knocked around, ulting out. There's a big engage by Demented Clown. He's gonna go ahead and turn on that damage direction. Milica kicked way back into the team. He is dead before this fight really even starts there. Lonely running forward. Still running forward. Okay, now running backwards there. Magical Journey way off to the other side. Big Cosmic Biting looking to come in. Does latch. Double aim against the wall. Chieftain's going to pin him against it to take him down for the 11th kill of the game for the Korean squad and their 5th turret taken down.
It felt like there was more of Korea than there was of Serbia in that whole team fight.
Well, I mean, when you insta-kill the AD carry, you're going to have a bad... Or the mid laner. Milica this time not consistent on his ultimate usage. Missed it in the last fight. Hit it that time. It still wound up dying. And oh man, this game is going to be very, very difficult for Serbia. Pushing into the base. Korea not overstaying their welcome. Willing to just take the win, take the inhibitor, back away.
Now I'm going to ask you the question I asked you the first game. Can Serbia make a comeback?
If they do, it's going to have to be off some pretty incredible Lulu play. For Colamax, this is where you kind of feel bad for playing Lulu, because as strong a champion as it is, it's a strong supportive champion. Oh man, a lot of damage. Oh no, Milica! Hit that shadow button going back in. There's Bigfoot. What? Jumping forward. That is an aggressive direction. It winds up with him going down. Nice knockback there from Demented Clown to stop that engage from Lonely. Hecarim ult is down. Shuriken's thrown out. Chieftain very low. No AD carry here for Serbia, but they're still pushing forward. Low health bars on everyone. Lonely push forward. There's a shutdown for Milica. Can they turn this one around? There's the ultimate coming back up for Zed. There's the death mark. It's coming down for a triple kill. Got the camera, this highlight reel's coming in. There's the Quadra going through the wall there, latched against it. Double aim not able to help secure the Penta, but 4 kills in a row for Milica. You asked the question, how does Serbia come back? Looks like they just gave you an answer.
Yes, that was really beautiful. I think that's what we've been waiting for from Zed. He's been trying so hard, but getting exhausted every time. But Bigfoot getting caught like that.
It's all planned, deliberate bait, 100% part of the strategy. But, I mean, it did work out. You take the AD carry down, but maybe overextending a little bit too far. Some low health bars after the fight. Korea, I said they weren't overstaying their welcome in the base, but they just got taken down as they disengaged. And that's going to be a dragon, the first dragon of the game for Serbia. Definite comeback potential here.
And that at least eliminates the 5th dragon for the early game at least. So like 42 minutes at least?
It's going to be a very long way away. And I never really expect to see Dragon be a win condition anymore, or 5th Dragon be a win condition anymore. Games end so fast in the preseason. Like you're playing the tutorial, you're just like, all right, 25 minutes, time to end the game. A lot of snowballs, very, very effective. And hey, with 4 kills, getting that snowball rolling, interesting to see all that gold thrown into a Quicksilver Sash, though. Milica wants to be able to be mobile, be effective in these team fights, but we talked about Baron earlier. Better talk about it now. Korea starting it out here. We'll see if Serbia can put those 4 kills to use. Bardol in, catches 2, and there is double aim in the front lines. Kicks backwards, big knockups, and there's actually double aim going down. We're going to see 2 kills immediately. Shutdowns in there, Pokemon kiting backwards. Korea in there with a triple kill, looking for the Quadra. Didn't they get it? No, Pokemon grabbing one of those kills there. A 4-for-0 exchange, and Korea back on the Baron.
And it gives them a free one, of course. The problem there was Justana was bot. She was running. She was not there in time. You said it's a new Eddie carry. I think that's the weak point.
Definitely not quite the positioning that was necessary there. And wise to see Tristana not try to go push that, or like, force them off the Baron. Going back, pushing out the wave. There's super minions on the Nexus turrets, by the way. We're going to see that right there. Okay, they're mini minions on the Nexus turret. There will be super minions on the Nexus turret as that inhibitor is still down. Pushing through the top lane with that Baron buff. Inhibitor turret down. But this time around, it looks like Fog have learned their lesson. They're going to back away, not face that Quadra kill coming their way again. Recalling on that ward, I don't know if that's necessarily a great spot, but empowered recall, it's a good way to get back to base.
Apparently, they're not scared at all. Zed is going bot, so there's no real threat.
Waiting for just a second to see Milica right on top of the wave clear. Actually pretty good at killing off the super minions, but when you're talking about how good Zed is at killing off super minions, you already know that, hey, they exist for a reason. That bottom inhibitor going down, actually the best inhibitor to take, I think Frostturn calls that the Baron inhibitor. When you talk about being able to take it down, it's the farthest one away from Baron, so it makes that maybe a little bit more of an easy objective to take down. Now, of course, Baron already down, so still going to set up for very strong pushes up towards the top half of the map as that inhibitor is open. Will Korea respond by heading right back up there? It looks like they're just content to push mid.
Ekram will go get it. Slowly but surely. We just saw the gold deficit as well, or the gold split. And Zeta has 11k, and just after him it was 9k, so you can see his team is quite behind.
Ooh, very low health there on Bigfoot. Chieftain just checking things out. That's one Lee Sin Q. A lot of damage to be done off of that. And to be fair, Lee Sin, aggressive itemization. 80 carry is still pretty squishy, so Milica's got some kill potential in here when he decides to use it. But bottom inhibitor being destroyed, top inhibitor being destroyed. Serbia have to hit the go button. Looks like they're going to hit colorless. He is very, very low. Magical journey over the wall. There's the barrel to knock the back away. We got Zed in the back line. Nice Quicksilver Sash to stay alive. Oh my god, just able to take out Fire Rain. Some signs of life coming in here from the Serbian team. Double aim going down. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth kill notwithstanding. Lonely in onto the Nexus turrets. There's one Nexus turret falling. Inhibitors are down as Korea pushes into the base. The Nexus under fire. And in 2 games, Korea will take out Serbia to secure their spot in the grand finals.
China versus Korea in the finals. That should be exciting.
Two of the strongest teams here in the tournament, and just incredible to see them work out this way. A win for Korea here allows them the opportunity to continue their dominance in League of Legends at IESF, and knocked out of both of the other esports competitions. This is Korea's last chance at securing a first place finish here at IESF.
Well, Kalilis just made Bard viable, so anything's possible.
Yeah, Bard, if you're talented enough, you can make some very, very big plays here. You see the Serbian squad actually pretty hyped about those games. They played very, very well during the second one. And now we're actually going to take a look at the results from the tournament so far. So we just got a chance to see Korea pick up a win here, and China, of course, pick up a win previously. And you can see those there represented on your screen. 2-0 victories in both of those situations. Both semifinals out of the way. And that means the only thing left is the grand final matchup coming your way tomorrow. So you don't want to miss tomorrow's grand finals for every game tomorrow. It's the last day of IESF, and I am excited. I was excited for today, and we had some incredible matches. But tomorrow, this is what the brackets look like. Korea crushing Romania 2-1, though. Maybe not quite crushing, but second matchup versus Serbia, dominant 2-0 win.
I am surprised. This was amazing. I thought because Romania took a game that Korea had a weak point, but Serbia gave them a go initially, but you can see.
Right.
They're Korea.
Yeah, Korea very, very strong, and very impressed to get a chance to watch a very strong roster being fielded by that team here today. It's going to be exciting to watch them play against China tomorrow, so you do not want to miss that. Hit the follow button, let your friends know about IESF. If you guys want to check it tomorrow, that's going to be where all the excitement's at. So it's actually going to do it for our broadcast here today. We've had some great League of Legends, StarCraft 2, and Hearthstone action. You don't want to miss the finals tomorrow. So make sure to come back then, and that, like I said, is going to do it. Big thanks to the audience for tuning in, co-casters, production crew. It's been a great day of IESF. Alas, it's drawing to a close. So thank you for watching. We'll see you back here for the finals tomorrow.